Artists have a very special relationship with tools because they shape the way that we express ourselves. For example, in the year 1700, when the forte piano was invented, all of a sudden composers could write a new kind of music. And this is, by the way, I did a very historically accurate drawing to demonstrate this. It used to be that music for keyboard instruments, you could basically write one volume, but now all of a sudden you could start very quiet, and then you could get very loud, and then you could get very quiet again. And people thought it was so cool to have both kinds of music that they named the entire instrument the loud soft. Here's another example. When we invented the movie camera, we went from telling stories around the campfire to acting them out on the stage to projecting them with light and sharing them with the entire world. This was really a remarkable transformation, and it was fueled by technology. And if you think about the golden age of timeless classics that resulted, things like Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, Sharknado 5. Now, as a musician and an artist, my favorite tool of all things winds up being computer code. And when you see it there on the screen, who couldn't help but fall instantly in love with it? I see a woman over there who's contemplating a career change because she's like, it's so fun. What I love about code is that it's so flexible and it lets me explore so many different kinds of things. So all the creative work I'm about to share with you comes from code that I've written. This first example is a piece of music. For centuries, composers have entertained themselves by taking music from an earlier era, putting their own spin on it, and composing something new. So for this, I've written a program that extracts features from the music of J.S. Bach, filters them through the music of jazz musician John Coltrane, and then puts my own little spin on it. So it sounds like this. So I was able to write the code that created that music because first I had spent years of my life, and you can probably picture this, hunched over a piano, learning how to write music note by note by note. And that's still the best way to learn how to write music, so we still teach students that way. But what's fun about composing with code is that instead of writing note by note by note, now you can direct streams and flows of information and see where they lead. So we teach students that too. Now, there's an alumni from the College of Music named Sam Estes, who's the co-founder of this remarkable company called Amper Music. It's one of the first artificial intelligence music companies in the world. They received massive venture capital funding last year. They have rapidly growing offices here in LA and in New York City. It's an incredible story from this College of Music alumni, and Sam Estes is actually here, so I'd love to give him a shout out. If we could shower him with applause. This is an incredible story. There he is. And he's a new father, too, so I love that company. Moving along, so just as you can direct streams and flows of sonic events, so too you can direct streams and flows of visual events. So I'm going to take you through a process of what it would be like to do a kind of drawing with computer code. Here we have a particle moving across the screen. Let's just call that the mother particle. And its only job in life is to just simply travel through space. Next, we have a spiral particle, and its only job is to just draw circles around wherever the mother particle happens to be. Now we've got a group of these particles, and the mother particles are speeding up and slowing down, and that's what's causing this expansion and contraction to occur in the patterns. Finally, we just take a big mass of them, let them go, and discover a visual design. And if we want to explore different ones, then we change numbers in the code and see where that leads us. Some work that I've done related to this is clay that has a very thin layer of black ink, and then a robot is scratching the black ink off to reveal the white underneath. It's another piece with the same technique. Here, the robot is drawing spirals with ink on paper, and then I'm painting transparent watercolor over the top of that. So moving now from drawing with code to fabricating objects with code, this is an installation that I did at the David B. Smith Gallery in Denver. And instead of the code drawing to a screen or drawing to a surface, now the code is controlling lasers that are cutting shapes out of this 25-foot wide by 12-foot tall surface. And referencing the idea of a kind of machine intelligence that's becoming pervasive everywhere. It's watching you right now, actually. There are sensors on the piece, and it notices when you're there and lights up. All of these things that I'm sharing with you, these installations, I've done in very close collaboration with CU students, everything from the conception of the piece, to building the piece, to installing it, and to maintaining it. It's one of my favorite things about the job that I have, and I'm a very lucky person that way. Here's another piece called Swarm Wall. This was installed in one of my favorite places, which is actually the CU Art Museum. It's a really beautiful museum. And it was interactive, and it would basically play games with you when you would visit. So we had a lot of kids come back as repeat visitors. It was done in collaboration with my friend Nicholas Carell, who's a roboticist at CU. And here you see technology that he invented for this piece. There are 70 of those nodes in the back, and they're paying attention to the people in the front and sending messages to each other constantly about what they're observing. And the behavior of the piece emerges out of those messages that are constantly being sent in the back there. And the light and the sound and the kinetic motion are all basically on equal footing. The final piece I'm going to share with you today is a recent commission from the city of Boulder. Many of you who are alums will probably recognize the Pearl Street Mall there. And what I was trying to do with this piece was to get away from the idea that the art is here and the observer is there, and rather I wanted to bring as much of the world into the piece as I could. So the Pearl Street Mall, you may remember, has these incredibly beautiful plantings all throughout. They're filled with color and texture, and so I wanted to bring those into the world of the piece. And in Boulder, we've got these extraordinary skies with the beautiful clouds. I wanted those. But most importantly, I wanted to make a space where neighbors have an excuse to just hang out outside for a moment and interact with other people and experience something novel. The sun was also a part of the piece. The sun would reflect off of the mirrors early in the morning, and it would make this kind of shimmering and dancing projection for a few minutes, my favorite part of the day. I'm going to wrap this up with a light tunnel that I've made to signify our journey into a mysterious future, because we have no idea what kinds of new technology we will be developing, and therefore what kinds of new expression will be possible. I have no idea what Sam's company is going to be doing in 5 years. I want to hear that. Or maybe there's a kid being born right now who's a painter, except when she gets to see you, she's going to learn how to take her incredible paintings and embed them in an immersive environment, so that we strap on the goggles and the paintings are so beautiful we're moved to tears, but then we can also maybe swim through them, or we can touch the brush strokes, or maybe we can even taste what the color, who knows. So many different kinds of art forms are just around the corner. So all of these machines are coming and coming and coming, and let's make sure that we continue to play with them and discover a future that's filled with art, music, invention, and all sorts of wonderful tools. Thank you very much. Thank you.